Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. Today, we got a deck that is the bomb, my friends. Super excited about this one. It is a top 25 deck, almost a top 10 deck, and it is user submitted. So I cannot wait to cover this one. It is something completely different, something new, and a huge thank you for reaching out and letting me know about this. So quickly here, Planeswalkers, before we check out the deck, we're obviously going to talk about the main board. We'll talk about the sideboard. We'll talk about pulling these two together for a best of three how-to, and then we'll go play some competitive Magic in both best of one and best of three today. And we'll see. I may hit Mythic as well. So with that said, Planeswalkers, as always, a huge thank you. I truly appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on daily content like this. And last but not least, other ways to support the channel, down below in the description. Feel free to check out my Untapped profile, see that journey, follow it real time if you'd like. And additionally, you can share yours. I have Untapped Companion down there as well. And last but not least, feel free to become a patron. I really appreciate that. And also a YouTube member. So, all right, Planeswalkers. So what is this bomb deck that I am talking about? Well, we have what we're calling a top 25 Selesnya 4-power aggro. That is right. So this is what we call a 4-power aggro deck because it's all about everything being at 4 power. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But first, it is Selesnya because it's both the green and the white, giving us the forest and plains color wheels, or colors on the color wheel here, giving us the Selesnya from Ravnica, and then it's 4 power because the whole point of this deck is pretty much all your creatures are going to be at power and toughness 4. It's pretty nasty, and then it's aggro because it's really, really fast. As you can see, most of the stuff here is really 1 and 2 drop. We have some 3s, and then obviously at the top end here, we got good old Questing Beast, which is a great finisher for this aggro deck. So, Planeswalkers, before we get started, as always, the deck list is available for you down below in the description, so you have access to it right away. Additionally, the deck link is down there as well. So we're going to quickly run over everything here, and then we'll come back and talk about the deck in its totality because that is what we do. So first off, we have Seed of Life's Bounty here. We got a life linker, we got protection, also the ability to get some finishing touch in here as well, where we can sacrifice Seed of Life's Bounty. We can target creature enchantment we control, gains protection from the color of our choice until end of turn. So very important there. Then we got Selfless Savior. Again, something else that we can use to protect our board here. We can sacrifice this creature. Another target creature we control gains indestructible until end of turn. Then we have Swarm Shambler. So Swarm Shambler here is a +1/+1. Enters with the +1/+1. And then whenever a creature we control with a +1/+1 counter becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, we get to create a 1/1 green insect creature token. We can pay 1 and tap this to add an additional 1/1 on Swarm Shambler. Then we have Stone Coil Serpent. So this creature's got reach and trample. It's got protection from multicolored. And then Stone Coil Serpent also enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. So very efficient 1-drops here. Or also multiple in terms of the Stone Coil. Then we have Angelic Ascension. So I've ran this before in blue-white flyers, so it's been a long time since we've seen this card actually, so I'm very excited that this is in here. So here we can exile target creature or planeswalker. Its controller creates a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. So we can get a nice 4/4 angel really fast. This is a great turn 2 play. You can target your own stuff and have this come in, and then obviously you're hitting it for some nice damage the next turn. We got good old Luminarch Aspirant here. We only have 3 of this one. At the beginning of combat in our turn, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature we control. Then we have Kenris Transformation. So the good old Elks here. So when Kenris Transformation enters the battlefield, we get to draw a card. So that's really powerful for us, getting the cantrip. And then additionally, the enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3. So here is what's really important. Playing this on a Swarm Shambler, playing this on a Stone Coil is going to get that 4/4 body really fast. So you can do this turn 2 and you're swinging in for 4 very, very powerful, hard for your opponents to deal with unless they have direct removal. This is going to beat down any creature-based decks, particularly in the best of one realm. Fully will beat those down. And before I forget, I apologize. This deck is by Mitchwise. So again, a user submitted deck. So thank you, Mitchwise, for pointing this out and reaching out to me. Again, really appreciate it, and for the tips on how to play this deck. The other point on this that I do want to get to here is that this particular deck performs very well in best of one. We do have a best of three sideboard that we will cover here in a minute. All right, so back to it. So we got Skyclave Apparition. So when this enters, we can exile target non-land permanent our opponent's own with converted mana cost 4 or less. And then when it leaves, again, XX blue illusion creature token. But here's a pro tip and something that's real sneaky. Counterless Transformation you can pop on Skyclave. You'll make it a 3/3, but it will also lose if it dies. They won't get their token. So pretty cool and pretty crafty there. Then we got the first Iroan Games. So this is a saga. We got 4 things with this one here. We get to create a 1/1 soldier token. We get to put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature we control. And then if we control a creature with power 4 or greater, we get to draw 2 cards. And then we get to create a gold token. So our turn 3s are really powerful. We're either taking something off the board or we're building big creatures and getting our draw. We're still getting draw here. Really nice to see that in this deck. Then we got the good old Legion Angel, which is a 1/of. It's a flying out here. When it enters the battlefield, we may go grab another one of these from our sideboard. And it is great. I always like having it at the top end. And then last but not least, the good old Questing Beast. So Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste, so many other things. Can't be blocked by power 2 or less. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures we control can't be prevented. And last but not least there, whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls as well. So that is the deck. Lots of cool stuff going on. Something totally neat, as I said, or totally different, very neat, as I said before. And then we got a good old 22 lands, which fits in nice for both best of 1 and best of 3. And then we got the good old branch loft pathways. So this is a really direct, very linear deck that's very powerful. Like I said, it's going to give our opponents a tough time. Anything that's really creature based, mono red, aggro, Gruul aggro, as they like to say, the ability to get under the cleave exists. It exists with this deck. You can actually go harder and faster. So those decks, this has got a great matchup on. It's going to be a little bit tougher against some of the Dimmer Rogues decks, those kinds of things, but obviously in best of 3 we can adjust for those. And Mitchwise did hit like rank 14 with this, so very powerful. As I said, top 25, it's more like top 10, and the deck runs at in Mythic right now a healthy 70 plus, overall like 65 plus, which is very impressive. So that is the main board, folks. That is a little bit of the strategy and some of the objective of the deck. We're going to go talk about the sideboard here now. So first off, we got Giant Killer. So this destroys target creature with power 4 or greater, or we can tap down. So this is a great ability for us to take out other big creatures. Additionally, to control the board with the tap down. It's going to certainly help in some more of the mid-rangey and late game decks, particularly if they're running more creature heavy stuff. We can definitely use this. So something like the good old Ultimatum decks, for instance. But it's not going to be bad against a control deck, or sorry, not a control deck, aggro deck early game, or some of those mid-range ones too. If you just need that additional direct kill, something on like a Gruul aggro, those kinds of things, or even a mono red if Annex gets big enough, and it will help you dodge some cleaves once in a while. Then we got Sentinel's Eyes. So here, enchanted creature gets +1/+1, has vigilance. We get the escape where we can exile 2 other cards from our graveyard. Here, you're going to run this against rogues. You're going to run this against discard, Rakdos midrange. You could run it again against other late game decks, actually, or even mid-range decks if you want to keep your creatures up. Man, it's not bad in aggro too. Just kind of depends. Then we got Rabid Bite. So here, target creature we control deals damage equal to its power to target creature we don't control. Again, good matchup against things like mono green food. Now you're definitely going to want to get stuff off the board there. I like this one for that. I like it against the aggro decks. I like it against some of the other mid-range as well. Then we got Scavenging Ooze. So the Skoos, as you guys know it by me, is one of my favorite cards, as I always say. It's got a spot in my heart in Modern. But anyway, here we can exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and we gain 1 life. Great against Rogues decks, great against the Rakdos mid-range decks or other decks that are utilizing the graveyard. So this is going to be your guy to play. It can make a difference too at times against things like Cruel Aggro if you need, or even Mono Red, just to get some of that life back and then kind of chip at the graveyards. But again, very, very powerful one there. But definitely any of your opponents that are trying to leverage that graveyard, you could play it against Doom decks, things like Dance the Mance, anything that's going to try and play some of those things back from the graveyard. This is going to be a good one for you. Legion Angel we covered, so one of the tricks that I always have here is you could always split it if you wanted to. Particularly, again, I always like that Cruel Aggro matchup. Now you can go over the top on it, makes a nice finish. Could be a good one for you too against some more of the late game decks. To keep kind of refilling your hand, you might want to split it and not go for the 3 of here. If you're playing something like a Dimmer Control deck, or even some of those Yorion decks like I mentioned, even some Ultimatum decks, again, that might not be a bad one for you. Then we got Garruk Unleashed. So here we get +1, up to 1 target creature gains +3/+3 and trampled on the turn, or down 2, we can create a 3/3 beast token. If our opponent controls more creatures, then we put a loyalty counter back on Garruk. And then down 7 at the beginning of our end step, we may search our library for a creature card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle our library. This is a great mid-range late game card for sure. I would play this against any of the Yorion decks. I play this against other control decks. I'd also play it like the Jeskai Mill deck we did the other day. You guys check that one out. This might not be bad in there too, but that's, again, you're probably going to run it similar to the way that you'd build Rogues. I like this against even some of the decks that we already talked about, like the Rakdos mid-range. I like it against the Selesnya mid-range deck, and also Sultai mid-range as well. Then we got Gemraiser. So this is the card that we're going to want to bring in against the Doom decks, a lot of the late game stuff. Here it's got Reach, it's got Trample. When it mutates, we destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. You could run this against Mono White Lifegain. You could run it against Cruel Aggro as well, even Mono Red if you wanted to, because it's going to snipe Annex. We'll destroy Embercleave. So lots of good spots there. I would even consider running it against the good old Rogues decks just for the reach on this at times. Then obviously we got a lovely 4/4 power toughness going on here still, so perfect in that space. And then we got good old Primal Might Boop, and then like I said, Yorion decks. This is any Doom deck, anything running enchantments, Mardu, Abzan, Esper, Orzhov, you name it. This guy's got you covered. Then last but not least, we got Private Might. So here we can target creature, or target creature you control gets X until end of turn. Then it fights up to 1 target creature we don't control. I actually really like this against the Ultimatum decks to pick off Terror of the Peaks. Additionally, because if you get to 5, that's going to be a nice setup for you, and by then you should be able to go for lethal right after you hit Terror on the Sky. This works well, again, even against some of the aggro matchups, like Mono Red, Cruel, to pick things off the board. Also that Mono Green. You could play it nicely if you wanted to in the mid-range as well. Late game, you're probably not really gonna play this because you may not have to pick too many things off. So Planeswalkers, that is what we have for the sideboard. I really like it. A couple things that I would maybe even consider adding is there's the I think it's the 4/3. It's not the 4/4, but the 4/3 Garruk's guy where you can hit in protection from black and you can go pull a card. That wouldn't be a bad one to have in here for additional protection against rogues. That could be a consideration. Maybe something I'd swap out for a giant killer there or something like that. But that's a good one to consider too. But I really like this lineup that we got going on. So with that said, we're going to talk about the aggro lineup, the mid-range lineup, and the late game lineup, and kind of a how-to board here a little bit for you. So first off, against the aggro, this is really strong already. We're not going to have to do too much. I don't mind. So the things that I don't mind throwing in, excluding rogues is still, Sentinel's Eyes isn't bad against aggro. Rabid Bite something, definitely. Primal Might something, definitely. And then you can make that Scooz consideration, like I said, depending on what you're playing, might not be a bad one. And then you could maybe put in 1 or 2 giant killers, like I mentioned, if you want to get something out. But this is very efficient already, so you might not need to move too many around. The one thing that I do like is I'm a big fan of the 1-offs or 2-offs if you just need them, and a Rabid Bite could be the difference between the game, so could a Primal Might. So the ability to really take your opponents off could make a big difference for you there too. So if we look at that, then let's go 3 to 4 that we may want to flip in, flip out. Where would I consider? Where I would look to be honest, I do like my flyer for going over the top, but that's still the ability to play this or this also allows me to then not wait a turn to then play this or on the end of a turn. So this makes it even slightly more aggressive at times. This does help you on the offensive though. So that could be a trade-off. So that could be a spot that I would consider. I would also maybe consider moving out 2 of these here. So then that still gives you what you need to hit Swarm Shambler, Stone Coil for Kenris. Luminarchs you're still having. I'm going to keep these guys in here because they're big powerhouses in this deck. So that's kind of where I'd look to optimize, is just maybe in this space a little bit. Again, probably between these 3. You could always consider Swarm Shambler if you wanted to, but the Kenris on the Swarm and the Kenris on the Stone is just going to be more value for you. So that's how I would do the aggro matchup. Then when we get to the mid-range, again, like I said, some of those things that you're going to probably consider would be a Scavenging Ooze. You could consider Garruk. You might not need Gem Razor. If they're creature heavy, you're going to go Rabid and Primal. You're probably not going to play Sentinels. You may throw in a Giant Killer. So we'll go 4 again, 4 to 6. And I would look to the same spot. I would maybe go again between these 3 here. Again, this is that just slower paced play for me. I do like this card, so it's definitely hard for me to make that decision, but I think I would go maybe 1-1-2 there. That would still give us that option. And additionally, even though you're getting that 4/4 body, if they don't have a lot of stuff in your path in the mid-range lineup, that's going to be a benefit for you. Then last but not least, we got the late game lineup. So this is going to be like the Yorion decks, Doom decks. It could be potentially Ultimatums, kind of the mid-rangey to late game. You're probably going to look at, in my opinion, I would look at doing the Gem Razor. You may want the Scavenging Ooze. You may want a Primal Might. You may want Garruk on there. So this is going to be the 4 to 6. And again, I'd probably do the same thing. I know it's tough, but I would probably look at these 3. And again, it's the value of the play style there. I like the protection, but the ability to get a couple more 1-offs is going to be a little bit more helpful for us, particularly if you're playing like a black lineup or swamp lineup and they got the exile stuff. There's not going to be much you can do to kind of save some of these things anyway, so we just need to be cognizant of those kinds of things. And I did, late game could be, or mid game could be mono red control, mono black control, some of those things, mono blue monument, lots of different things like that too. So Planeswalkers, with that said, that is kind of how I would tackle the main board, the sideboard, pulling those 2 together for the aggro, the mid-range, and the late game lineup. So with that said, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Again, hats off to Mitch Wise. Thank you for reaching out, and anyone, please feel free to do that. I'd love seeing these things. I got a few more coming for you. so please stay tuned. Very, very excited about that. It just happened to be this week that everyone was reaching out, so I was very excited about that. So let's go ahead and we will go play a match here in our best of one fashion. So again, I was checking it out already. Let's go to our standard ranked here. All right, there we go with our Selesnya 4-power deck. And I did do a Jeskai Mill one the other day. You guys should check out. Unfortunately, I did take a day off. I fell asleep early, so it happens. I'm not a machine. I am a human. All right, now Planeswalkers. Before we get started here against this person who I cannot name, and we'll have to decide if we want to keep this. I just want to say thank you. As always, I truly appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch to stay up to date on daily content like this. Other ways to support the channel down below in the description. Also, feel free to hop in the Discord channel. Love seeing you there. You can become a patron, or you can also become a YouTube member down over there as well, and appreciate the subscriptions, like I said. So, all right, let's go ahead. Now, this is actually a tricky one for me, and I'm saying that because I got a nice turn play, but then I put my white at risk. I am on the play, though. I'm actually going to keep it, and we're going to try it. I don't like that I don't have the white lineup, and that could kill me pretty badly, but oh, now it's going to hurt real bad. So hopefully we'll hit. There we go. So now we're okay. And what I'll probably do, so it's a mono black deck. Oh, I was going to say I'm probably going to play L-Seeds next. I'm going to do that to get the draw. There we go. Be a tough one since they got the direct kills like that. So we're gonna go real big. Gonna go real big here. Now, if we can get to one more planes and get the Legion Angels rolling, we're going to sit pretty good. That's going to hurt them. So, let's do this. We'll go another 4. So what will hurt us is if they exile. I'll be curious to see what they pull, because a lot of people don't know what this deck has. So we'll get the 2 from our hand. And what's interesting is that's actually really going to help us. So we'll be within lethal. There we go. Now, I'm not going to play this. I'm actually going to sit on it, I think. Well, I can play it. I'll still get my draw, so I'll do that. I think we got it. Ooh, we did it! We did it! We did it! We hit Mythic off this deck. So awesome, my friends. Look at this. Alright. Extra added bonus for our Selesnya 4 power. Love it. Nice job, Mitch-wise. It worked out nicely for us today. So let's go ahead. We accomplished what we needed to. It doesn't mean we're done yet. We still got another best of 1 match and best of 3. 97%, not bad. 12 days. You know, I was. Let me move this here. I was very close in like 3 days, and I was going to try and PR, but I had too much stuff pop up, so it was unfortunate. But great timing. Better than last season anyway. I took a little bit more of a slow roll approach, but let's go ahead. We'll hop back into it. So boom, there we are, back in the Mythic, my friends, and we are back at it with our best of 1 deck here. 4 power Selesnya. All right, let's see what we got here. So we will chalk that up as a very nice, and that was a tough matchup because that was direct kill spells, so it still works against nicely against the mid-range. As you saw, we kept the flood. As you saw, we also were very fortunate in terms of the mana base. We did struggle. I was a little worried, but we made it work. So here, I'm going to go turn 1 into Swarm. So we know we can go double white here, which is what we need. I'll turn 1 into Swarm, so it looks like we got a lifelink deck. We could turn 2 into Stonecoil. Alright, so now we got the double green. Well, now we got the white though, so we're good. So I'm gonna do this. I'll go 2. I'm doing that because if they hit me with something, I'll still have a body here if I need it. I was thinking to sit and pump Swarm, but I think this is gonna be better. We can get the first. There we go.
We will persevere through loss and find our peace.
Now this was the deck you guys saw me play last season primarily, and I really like it. And we're gonna have a tough, potentially a tough lineup here. Good news is we're gonna add the 3 on to Stonecoil next turn. Now they're going to be really close in terms of getting Speaker of the Heavens to get to 7. And unfortunately, I'm not as aggressive this match. Not as aggressive this match, and we did not hit the Kenris. We would have got Kenris. So you see that Stonecoil. So we could block here if we wanted to. I'm gonna have to give it to him though. Gonna give it to him. So we'll do this. And we'll do this. I'll actually go like that. So that was actually a waste.
failed you.
There we go. That was a waste, because they could have just let it hit. They were going to lose it anyway. There we go. So we'll play our friend here. We'll play this friend. We'll go white, protection. So next turn, what I can do, oh shoot. Shoot. What I was gonna do next turn is then pump the Questing Beast, and then we would have been in a really, really nice spot. This is still a tough, this is a hard matchup. We're not drawing anything that's helping us. We're actually flooded, unfortunately. They got lethal here. Oh, brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. So it's too bad because we could have blocked here. Because they went protection for white. But unfortunately they still have enough where it's not going to matter. Yeah, and that's a mana. So nonetheless, good matchup. We just did not get what we needed in terms of outs, but that is okay. We made it. We split it in 1-1 today. We beat a control deck, mid-range mono black deck. Then we lost to a tough mono white life gain's a very, very tough deck. So let's go ahead and play this now in our best of 3 lineup, my friends. Again, there's that Jeskai mill deck I was talking about. So top 25 for power. Whoop. Selesnya. All right, we're on it, my friends. All right, so as always, Planeswalkers, huge thank you. Really appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on daily content like this. Additionally, feel free to support the channel. Other ways down below in the description. Always appreciate the patrons as well as the YouTube members. Lots of great ways to interact and benefits there as well. And then additionally, I do have the Discord channel, so come hang out. Love seeing everyone in there. Love chatting. Yeah, I don't mind talking. Anyway, now Planeswalkers, With that said, lots of great content still coming your way through the end of the year, and looking forward to a 2021 to do a lot of new things for you as well, and bring us great more fun ways to interact. I'm looking forward to Kaldim and everything else that's coming out. All right, we are waiting. Everyone's in Friday Night Magic. That is probably why. Let's try this again. We'll see if we can get the queue to go. It's this guy, good old Historic Popper. There we go, fast one. Sometimes you wait a minute, sometimes it goes much faster. Cam Wise. Alright, Cam Wise, let's see what we got going on here. One, two. I'm gonna keep it. We got this too if we need it. So this would be an interesting matchup. So this is an ultimatum deck. This is a hard matchup for this deck. Now, I'm debating here. I'm going to debate with myself because I could make it a flyer. I could make it a 4/4 for now and hit in. They still block. I think the flyer route's going to be the better way to go, honestly. Now, the problem here, though, is if they are playing something at instant speed, which they didn't do, we could have ran into a big problem. Oops. Shoot. Mistapped. Ooh. Alright. Oops. Oopsies. There's the terror. So here's where we're actually gonna do the kind of transformation on their guy. There we go. Alright, so we will six. As long as that doesn't get removed, we're actually in. We should be in lethal here. Two on the board, so we're okay. I'll grab another guy just in case. There we go. We should be okay. We'll find out. Alright, we're good. We are good. In the clear. We will block here. We will block. There we go. Woo! We got it. We got it. Alright. So how do we want to board? How do we want to board? This is going to be very important for us. It worked out well. The way that we played that. We're going to have to be really careful, though, for sure. So Giant Killer isn't a bad one. I like Skoos. I like Garuk. We're not going to be... Some of them play Great Henge. I'm going to keep this out for right now. Rabid Bite could help, and Primal Might could help. So let's see how we want to do this. Selfless Savior's not bad. Elseed helped us. Actually, we'll take those out. Skoos is not going to help us as much as we think. They didn't even see a lot of what we had. Killer might be the way to go. What else do we want to cut, though? I like the Angelic because we can get over the top. So, you know what? I'm going to keep it. I'm going to actually keep it the way... We got 2 Selfless out. What did I put in? I'll take the Primal Might out and go one more. I'm just going to play the Garuk. Just in case for the bodies, more so than anything else. So let's do that. So I'm gonna try it. Again, they haven't really seen this deck, so I think we're okay for the time being. We gotta hit our own things with the Angels, and we gotta protect the Angels. Brazen's gonna be one of the only things that's gonna be able to move it. They're not gonna probably double cast the Giants. They could, but that's just kind of what we gotta pay attention to here. So we got it again, and we got Swarm here. So I put that because if he does become the target, then we still get a guy, which is very important. Wait. That's what we wanted. Lots of value there for us. Lots of good value. So we're gonna do this first. We got him. We took down an Obosh ramp deck. Oh, Ultimatum. Oh, so good. That worked out nicely in our best of 3. What a day, my friends. What a day. So very, very powerful deck. Love it, love it, love it. Worked out nicely in the best of 3 match too. So here's what we got going on. Again, Planeswalkers user submitted deck by Mitch Wise. Thank you, Mitch Wise. Love it. They hit top 14 with it. Great journey. Primarily best of 1, but we saw it's effective in best of 3 as well. Was able to play around a lot of things, frustrate our opponent, and hit Mythic and play well in Mythic today. So very awesome. Again, Planeswalkers, here's what we got going on. This is the Selesnya 4-power deck, 4-power aggro deck. I hope you guys enjoy it. Super awesome, like I said. And here's the sideboard. If you got questions or comments, let me know down below. Always happy to help. Deck lists are available for you down below, and links as well. And then lastly, Planeswalkers, huge thank you to you. I do appreciate your support very much. I love doing this stuff for you guys, and I love hearing your feedback. So please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch, stay up to date on daily content like this. Also, lastly, Planeswalkers, other ways to support the channel down below. Appreciate all the patrons, appreciate the YouTube members. Feel free to sign up for those. Lots of great benefits, lots of great ways that we can interact together. Looking forward to the journey as always with you. All right, so again, final thoughts here. This deck crushed it. Super awesome. Very happy to do something like this. Makes me even more happy when it's a user submitted, own brew kind of a deal. So hats off again. Truly hats off. And if you guys got decks, send them my way. We've got a lot of cool content getting created for you. Lots of stuff in the pipe again. So very excited. All right. Stay tuned, Planeswalkers. You guys stay safe out there. I'll see you again soon. And until next time, au revoir.